Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Limerick, home of the Limerick, and we're really proud of that. This is the 7th year of the Bring Your Limericks to Limerick competition, and the 3rd year here in Dolan's of the Merryment. Tonight's competition is to find the champion Limerick writer for 2019, and it will take the form of one round competition, and there's 27 chosen participants tonight, and they'll be reciting their original limericks. We are delighted once again to have Mr. Myles Breen in the house. And he'll be joining us just in a few minutes. And in the meantime, I'm delighted to welcome Director of the Limerick Writers Centre and Organiser of tonight's festival, Dominic Taylor.
Thanks a million, Lisa. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming here tonight for the final of this year's Bring Your Limericks to Limerick competition, now in its 7th year, as Lisa has said. A special word of welcome to all those who travelled some distance to be here. And I'd especially like to thank Dolan's for hosting the event for us again this year. And I'd like to acknowledge the support of Limerick Arts Office and O'Mahony's Bookshop also. The Limerick verse is probably the most famous poetic form in the English-speaking world. It is often called the people's poetry, as even those with no interest in poetry would gladly listen or recite a limerick. And I need not remind everyone that it is often ribald, irreverent, and sometimes vulgar, but most of all, funny. Lots of famous people have written in the limerick form, from Nobel Prize winners to the Beatles. They've also been written in many languages. Indeed, the original limericks were written in Gaelic, and it is probably that as a result of the translations into English by the poet James Clarence Mangan, a Shanagolden man, that the form became popular in England and spread worldwide. We continue to develop the concept of establishing Limerick internationally as one of the only places in the world that gives its name to a literary form. This is the principal aim of the Bring Your Limericks to Limerick competition, to create this awareness between the place and the poem. Think Shakespeare in Stratford, Joyce in Dublin, Burns in Scotland, Limerick and the Limerick. It is also a link with the hidden Ireland and the old Gaelic tradition of the bards and the poetics of ancient Ireland. The German cultural philosopher Walter Benjamin said that to live is to leave traces. And we believe that the Limerick verse is indeed a trace of our ancient Gaelic world. Yesterday, we visited the grave of Andreas McNamara in Cruz as part of our annual tour of the Made Poets Country. And yesterday evening, we unveiled the plaque honouring Sean O'Toole. McNamara and O'Toole were two of the chief bards of the court of poetry in Cruz. When they were alive, they were a living and inspiring link with the rapidly fading Gaelic world, but they were also a bridge to the promising future of poetry in Limerick. It must have been fascinating and inspiring to the imagination to be part of that Gaelic world and frequent, as O'Toole and McNamara did, the courts of poetry, firstly in Cruz and latterly here in the city of Limerick. How we wish we could gain a better understanding of the tradition which they cultivated and enjoyed. And something we should note, as pointed out by Brendan O'Madigan in his book Limerick Heritage of Irish Song, this was an oral culture and that their poetry and verses were sung in performance, not read dryly from the page. He further notes that the airs their poetry was sung to were shared airs which were used and reused with variations to suit the personal style and artistry of the performer. So Bob Dylan, following on from the long tradition, he used Irish airs for his protest songs in the 1960s. Quite the reverse of today, where originality is valued more than the tradition. But through live performance, where poets actively exchange work with fellow participants and audiences, poetry becomes a communal function and a cultural reality with social significance beyond the confines of any particular group. And we know that these poems were not just for entertainment, but also contained social and political messages. And something of that old Gaelic spirit of O'Toole and McNamara lingers on, no matter how thinly, even today. And through his life and work, he passed on the tradition, which, although mainly a hidden tradition today, but our obligation to them and his life and their life is to hand it on to a future generation. So events like tonight are important occasions. By gathering and reciting our limericks here in Dolan's, we bring to attention to a hidden part of our literary heritage, a heritage that can be traced back thousands of years and of which we should be proud of and proclaim worldwide. Some time ago, the head of Bord Fáilte, Michael Cawley, in a newspaper article said, "We've got to squeeze a hell of a lot more out of our literary heritage." I believe that we have a ready-made branded product with Limerick and the Limerick. I would really like to look forward to working with the local authority and Bord Fáilte to develop this natural advantage that has been bestowed on our city and region. At the Limerick Writer Centre, we would like to make Limerick City and County the world centre for this famous verse form. And through our Bring Your Limericks to Limerick competition, which attracts entries from all over the world, we believe that we have made a positive start to that ambition. Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome Myles Breen to take us through the rest of the evening.
Right, thank you very much, Dolan and Lisa. Delighted to be back here again. How time flies. Seems like only yesterday I was here listening to the Ribald and the other. So just to set up a few sort of ground rules. First, take out your mobile phone and turn it off. Completely. There's no Googling, there's no, alright? Also, fire exits, that way. Follow me, I'll be the first one out the door, or down the back. Delighted to be back here again. Just a little basic introduction to the Limerick. It's a 5-line poem, A-A-B-B-A. I do this every year, but I don't think I have to do it to any of you, because I see a lot of familiar faces from over the years. Actually, this has been run since 2010, so this is 9 years, but this is our third year in Dolan. So could I have a huge round of applause for Dolan, please? Now, it's an international competition, but part of the competition is that you have to turn up and read or perform your limerick. It's not just a literary, like if it was a literary thing, none of us would be here tonight. The judges would be on their emails. But no, it's also part of performance, so there is an important performance element apart from just the writing. And also, we have a 25 to 27 finalists, then we'll take a short break, and then we'll come back, and then the judges will deliberate, and then the winner will be announced. The judge's decision is final. I don't want anyone to come and say, "How dare you?" It's not the X Factor, it's not, there's no appeals, no tribunals. No. The judge's decision are final. So without any further ado, let's introduce ourselves to the judges. So when I call your name, could you please stand up? First, needs no introduction, because his books are lying over there, on sale. An expert on the Limerick. Please stand up, Dr. Matthew Potter. Round of applause, please. You've been pretty much involved in this from day one, absolutely. How many limericks have you read? But thousands, I would assume, thousands. A little biographical information. Curator of Limerick Museum, and congratulations on the new homes at the Franciscans. Graduate of the University of London, very posh. Also NUI Galway, not so posh. But also he is the author of The Curious Story of the Limerick, and it's right over there, so if you want to know more about the Limerick, please give him a huge round of applause. A warm welcome to the madness that is the Limerick. Please stand up, Kieran Bevel. I arrived in today and I was flattered and shocked. Kieran reminds me from college. University College Cork. Not today nor yesterday. As he said, "I've changed." He said, "I hadn't." I said, "I had." He said, "No, I've changed more than you." Apparently he used to have long hair and a beard in those days. So, but we're delighted to welcome Kieran to the madness that is the Bring Your Limericks to Limerick competition. Teacher of literature and language, also author of the novel Bohemian Fire. And in addition, he's published 14 non-fiction books, and he has recently completed a book of poetry, Songs of Sorrow. Songs of Sorrow for your hair.
Volume 2.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Or volumizer.
We are delighted to welcome here to Bring Your Limericks to Limerick. For anybody involved, and last but not least, anybody involved in the arts, literature, music, entertainment in Limerick owes a lot to this lady. Please stand up. Miss Rose Rush. Rose is an incredible supporter of the arts and culture in Limerick. I count her one of my true friends. I really think, actually, give her another round of applause, because she's done so much to help promote work in Limerick. Most of you know Rose is a journalist with the Limerick Post newspaper, where she works as commercial features and arts editor. She also acts as pensions trustee with Refuge Education Centre Adapt Domestic Abuse Services. And honestly, I love Rose, and I'm so thankful for her to be here and join us. And thank you for all your continued good work for culture in Limerick. Big round of applause for Rose. Thank you. Now, a little bit of advice. The judges have already perused and studied, digested the limericks in text form. That is only part of their score. The other part of their score is performance and delivery. So for all our performers, readers, poets this evening, could you put your hands up? Who's in the house already? Just put your hand up. Put your hand up, put your hand up, put your hand up, put your hand up. Very good, very good, very good. Put your hand down. Very good, very good. So I'm going to help you a little bit, and the rest of you, I'm going to do a warm-up for the poets first, and then we're going to do a warm-up for the audience. So first for the poets, you can all do this. A little bit of an actor vocal warm-up. So first, open your mouth really wide, like we're at the dentist, and go, wider than that. Yeah, it's like you've got a root canal coming on, okay? And now you're going to scrunch your face like you sucked a lemon. Yeah, you're not scrunching. And now chew a huge piece of chewing gum. We're warming up the face. Biggest piece of chewing you ever had in your face in life. And finally make it sound like a horse. Try again. And just a very, very simple little tongue twister. Unique New York. New York, New Yeek. I messed up, I know. Unique New York, New York, unique. Okay, very, very, very good. And to all our performers this evening, try and stay close to the microphone so everyone can hear you. Okay, but I'll be on stage to aid you. Now for our audience participation is hugely important, because the judge is going to be judging how the poem went down with the audience. So the audience also need a warm-up. So we're going to do a few sort of reactions. So first, let's have a communal gasp. I was going to say on the count of three, but we'll try it again. 1, 2, 3. And now a sort of ooh. We'll try that. Something dirty, okay. 1, 2, 3. And now a hearty chuckle. One, like, 1, 2, 3. And finally, a boo. 1, 2, 3. There are a lot of very enthusiastic about that one, okay? Oh, God love you. All right. But no, your response is equally important, so be vocal, be enthusiastic, and for turning up, give yourselves a round of applause. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. I'll call your name. I know we're waiting on some people, so if people aren't here, we'll move on. But first up, could I call Miss Evelyn Casey to the stage? Miss Evelyn Casey, thank you. Steph is over here.
She's a sad one, I tell you, no riddle. That the Johnson boy's great on the fiddle. Let the world be aware of blue eyes and blonde hair. And your Paddy is stuck in the middle.
Nothing's good for heels, love.
No, seriously.
I should know. Panto plug. Miss Angela Mullen, your time is now. Miss Angela Mullen. Thank you very much, Evelyn. Angela.
The great Limerick Run Day was here. I set off from the start with great cheer. Once I hit People's Park, I thought, feck this lark. Popped into the pub for a beer.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you very much, Angela. Of course, I did not run. Aoife Toomey. Aoife Toomey, you're up. Oh, she's not wearing heels, thank God.
There once was a knowledgeable salmon who swam all the way up the Shannon. He swallowed some plastic with consequences drastic, and now we are facing famine.
I do apologise if I got this name. Mable Cruz Baroja. How did I do that, by the way? Oh, very good, thank you, Mable.
Hi. First time talking in a microphone anyway. So, my limerick is: a witch and a broom went to dine and parked on a yellow double line. Not a cheap dinner, and things they got grimmer. Her dessert was a clamp and a fine.
I don't drive, so I don't have that problem. Thank you very much, Mabel. And next we have Helen Simcox. Helen, you're up.
A dapper wee man.
Closer again. It's your French, not your own.
Okay. A dapper wee man that's Michael D. Mused, a term in the park would suit me. This wily old poet charmed us for our vote. Now he thinks he's Irish royalty.
With the Limerick, sometimes we get political. Yes, we do. Sheila Shagru. Sheila, you're up.
Mentioning political, my limerick is about W.B. Yeats's words, and I need only mention to you the rough beast to put you thinking. Here's my limerick. Said Yeats, though I'm 80 years dead, my poems are still being read. You may cast a cold eye on the place where I lie, but you cannot forget what I've said.
Thank you very much, Sheila, a long time participant. Maybe tonight's the night, Sheila. Maybe tonight. David Ryan. David, you're up.
Very sorry. Compost mentis. That's what I got.
Oh, he set it up! Oh.
Homogenized thought is all the rage. We praise narcissism at every stage. We lock up our thinkers. Let's throw on the blinkers and jump in the media cage.
Now, it's like an X Factor story here. Jennifer Allen, Jennifer, where are you, Bertie? No, we're going to do a whole X Factor backstory. Jennifer's injured her leg. She crawled out of her sick bed to be here. She's doing a whole symphony. You can stay there. I'll bring it down. I'll bring it down to you. I've been warned. She's injured, crawled out of her sick bed.
Whoa! Extra point.
Oh, yeah. No judges. No backstory. No back. One second. I'm caught again. Okay, here we go. Such a diva. So Jennifer, how's your leg? It's okay. It's a bit hot and bothered her leg. Can I get a big aw? But isn't she brave? Give her a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Allen.
I am filled with grammatical woe when writers of copy don't know that failed punctuation, needing no explanation, past the editor's desk, it won't go.
Round of applause for the crippled Jennifer Allen. Oh yeah, I just think that's a huge plea for sympathy there, you know. Her leg's fine, she went out for a pedicure earlier, I'm sure. Now the technical problems you've given me, ladies and gentlemen, could you please welcome Jim McLeod, please? Thank you very much, Jim.
A year ago, I wrote a limerick about a light-haired, not to say light-headed, head of a government to the west of Ireland. This year, a light-haired, not to say light-headed man has become the head of a government on the other side of Ireland. So I could not resist to write a limerick, a difficult one to rhyme, because the main word to work with was backstop. But I did the best that I could. And please bear in mind that a limerick is merely a 5-lined humorous verse that has no political content whatsoever. With Boris, as always, the facts stop. Now he wants to dispense with the backstop. That's just fine with me. Make our boundary the sea. At the shore would be our Union Jack stop. Just a verse.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Something.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
The limerick. The sacred text. Yeah. When he says limericks aren't political, methinks the lady doth protest too much. But also, to your other performance, notice the addition of props. Ooh. Brought his A game, didn't he? Yes. Mike Durack, you're up. Mike.
An amazing coincidence. The same subject matter. At a cliff edge, an automobile. Boris Johnson asleep at the wheel. No might and no may. No remain or delay. He'll drive over, deal or no deal.
Actually, if I remember correctly, a Brexit one was it last year? Trump, but I thought a Brexit one year. Okay. 2 years ago. Just saying. Just saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not a judge, by the way. I am neutral, like Switzerland. Or other places that have nothing to do with Brexit. Right. Bernie Moloney. Bernie, you're up. Go on, Bernie.
You ready? There was a young scientist named Lee. I have a present for you, Sissy. He put his hand in his pocket and pulled out a vibrating rocket, and now the earth moves for me.
Thank you very much, Bernie. Got us away from the backstop, I suppose. Or maybe it didn't. Right. Oh, Lordy, I do love these evenings. You're always going to be surprised. We have, no, to be honest, again, another sob story. Well, sadder than that. Oh, yes. Michael O'Gorman, who reached the shortlist and all the rest, unfortunately he's not well. Could we all say best wishes to Michael? Best wishes, Michael. So we have allowed, again, I think it's just a plot, sob story, X Factor. I'm too ill, but would my beloved son come and read on my behalf? Oh. So please welcome Kevin O'Gorman to read on his father's behalf. Kevin, you're up.
A hill farmer's daughter named Heather herded livestock in all sorts of weather, till her boyfriend went with her, and they got in a dither, because she couldn't keep her calves together.
No, Michael has been a long participant in these, and we wish him the best. Could I give 3 cheers for Michael, please? 3 cheers. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. And thank you very much, Kevin, for representing. Clare Dollard. I hope you're not a Clare.
There's Facebook, Netflix, and chat. Twitter, blogs, and WhatsApp. Can we go for a walk? Sit down and talk. Figure out where our friendship is at.
No, well done, well done. Give it up for Clare! I just want to check. Will we just keep going? We'll just keep going. Yeah, no, because okay, because I thought we would take a break around now. But are you enjoying yourselves, ladies and gentlemen? You could be a little bit more enthusiastic. We're halfway. Yeah. We're about halfway through, so for the performers, you can't just sit back there and go. No, you are part of this whole experience. So, if I'm working, you're working. Here we go. Sarah Moore Fitzgerald, you're up. Yeah.
While I fancy myself as a bard, reciting a limerick is hard. This poem's a mouthful, my talent so doubtful. I fear I'll be mentally scarred.
Yeah. You have to love the false humility, don't you? Ooh, include me. Might work with the judges though. They're sentimental, sloppy people. Right. Excuse me. Patrick McNamara. Patrick, you're up. Thank you, Patrick.
I know Dominic told us the limerick was a local verse, so I kept this as local as I could. Near one of our four-faced clocks, to be seen go young queens and young cocks. In the aisles they're out rolling. It's all smiles from Mick Dolan, from that spot on the docks that just rocks.
Basically, if he doesn't win, he's hoping he's going to get free pints off Dolan. It's a plan. I love Dolans too! Do you love Dolans? They're incredibly good, obviously, to bring your limericks to competition, but also to a whole bunch of other artists and musicians, and we are very blessed to be here. So, right, Rita, you're up.
The men's shed, far better than staying in the bed, is to visit your local men's shed, for when there's no work or no duties to shirk, stops you going soft in the head.
So, Risha, are you a regular visitor to the men's shed? What? No, a fabulous organisation, all the rest, but thank you, Risha, for drawing attention to it. Joe Sweeney, Joe. Oh, the slow from all the way back. Keep it up, yeah, if I'm working, you're working. Okay, work it, Joe, work it, Joe.
As the US and China compete and their industries turn up the heat, we can't burn logs or turf from the bogs And now we mustn't eat meat.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you. Oh, we've gone political again. Hands up the vegetarians in the house. Oh, lordy. The planet's going to die! Ruth Marshall. Ruth, you're up. Thank you very much, Ruth. Oh, front row. Eager beaver, eager beaver.
Well, I didn't bring props, but it's really nice to see they've prepared something on the floor here for me. For any of you who know it, the Extinction Rebellion symbol is on the floor. So, here we go. All the young are extinction rebelling. Who can blame them? Us old ones need telling. Species die, one by one, and forever they're gone. When it's our turn, who will hear us yelling?
Bit of a downer, Curtis. But the limerick covers many, many emotions. Many. Mike McGann Jones. Mike McGann, thank you.
Oh, look at him, like a greyhound out of the trap.
Thank you very much. Scary when you get up here. I'm afraid it's that subject again.
Oh, what, vibrators?
There once was a British Prime Minister. More stubborn, more stupid than sinister. She got Philip and Brexit jammed right up her own exit. How apt that it finally finished her.
Oh, dearie me. I came here to get away from the news. Between Trump and, oh Lord. I think I'll just go home and watch First City. Right, Joan of Shakru. Joan, you're up. Thank you. Big round of applause for Joan, writer, contributor.
Empty vessels making most noise can actually work quite well sometimes. This is it. A young man who worked for A. Proctor was the company's laziest worker. He covered his dossing by bullying and bossing, and now he's the managing director.
It's a dangerous sport, the Limerick. The dismount is very tricky if you're in high heels. Now, this is fun, because I get to sing a song. Please welcome Klaus Ankersen, all the way from Copenhagen. Yes, the Irish gentleman. Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen. That's all I know. You're very welcome.
There once was a tomboy named Kyle, whose sex games were witty and vile. He loved folks in groups. He'd spin and do loops as long as it was doggy style.
Well done. Also, may I compliment Klaus on your hairography and the condition of your hair. He's worth it. Dara McGuigan. Dara, oh, down the back, haunting the denizens. What do you mean? Oh, you got a boo! You got a boo! You got a boo, John! Do you notice that? No, you got an ooh, not a boo.
It's a new John.
Ooh, John.
I think I just realised I'm in the wrong place because my verse is called haiku.
Oh God, I need to cleanse!
I think it should be next door. The haiku's peculiar metre, quite simply put, couldn't be neater. With its 575 syllables to describe all one's thoughts. Hey, what limerick could beat him?
Thank you very much, Tara. I thought we were going to have a literary fight there. The haiku versus the limerick. There could be blood. Or at least paper cuts. Right. Alan Murphy. Alan. Thank you very much, Alan. Up you go. Watch the beer crate. It's giving us trouble. So.
This is about another statesman from long ago. It's called Gail Caesar. As Caesar once said with a broga, be you upright or be you a roga, with your pose full of pomp, but your feet in a swamp, toga boogie when you're in your toga.
Okay. And no sign of John Lawless either. So ladies and gentlemen, that is our competitors for this evening. Give them all a huge round of applause. Thank you. Just now, as I say, if I'm working, you're working. The thing is, we're going to let the judges deliberate, but I'm going to set you a challenge. Since you're all so clever about limericks. Oh, I could write better than that. I could do better than that. Let's see how well you can do. So your first line is, while attending bringing your limericks to Limerick. So that's the first line. While attending bringing your limericks to Limerick. I'll give you one of my own. While attending bringing your limericks to Limerick, I learned a very cunning trick. Though your rhymes may abuse, it's better to abuse. The judges accuse them of being thick. So, I will read out any entrance so you can hand them up to me during the break. We're going to take a 15-minute interval, ladies and gentlemen, while the judges deliberate. Give yourselves a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're nearly at the silencio. Thank you. Thank you for all your contributions. We're going to read these first, and then we're going to get to the denouement of Bring Your Limericks to Limerick competition. Once again, give yourselves a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Fabulously enthusiastic audience, and thank you for your support. And also a huge round of applause for all our performers this evening, our limerick writers. However, there can be only one. It's not all. It's not all.
There's runners up.
There's runners up. So, without further ado, could I please? Let me do something. Could I have the judges on stage, please? Kieran and Rose, thank you. Now they have. I might ask you first, just for a little comment about your general. Don't give away the end, but general your response to the performances and the limericks this evening. Kieran, as a visitor to our shores, you first.
I was very impressed.
Close to the Macklin.
Okay, thanks.
Say it on.
I was very impressed by the standard. I'm looking at a hand signal. Am I meant to do something?
No, you're grand.
I'm
you're
grand. Who's
grand.
not grand? Myles.
I'm on stage, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, and I read through them and delighted to be here. And I've just recently moved back to Limerick, so it's a great introduction to the city and to the artistic and cultural life of the city, and I'm delighted to be part of it. And a privilege to be involved in adjudicating,
and moving on.
It's hard sometimes to make the right or make a decision when the standard is so high. But we did our best, and I think we've come up with a good decision.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think one thing I've noticed, this is my third year acting as judge, and the standard has improved immeasurably compared to what it was a few years ago. So I think that made our task much more difficult than probably in earlier years. But again, I hope that we've made the right decision, and I hope everybody agrees that we've made the right decision. Thank you.
Rose, first time.
This is my novice bath in Limerick's waters, and I really enjoyed it. Guys, we really respond to that lovely old Gaelic word gachi, and props, and gay man, and just one word, looking forward to anybody next year, because clearly many of you are repeat contenders here. Good luck to you, and love courage. Bring on the games. Okay? Turn on all the lights next year.
Thank you very much.
So, we're going to do, we have third, second, and first place, so we'll do reverse order. So, in third place, please welcome Patrick McNamara. Patrick.
The winner's bus moves down O'Connell Street. All the heroes they have 45 years of waiting is over. The supporters come
I try to remember. Near one of our four-faced clocks, to be seen go young queens and young cocks. In the aisles they're out rolling, it's all smiles from Dolan, from that spot in the docks that just rocks.
And in second place, a big round of applause for Clare Dolan. Dolan is our Clare. Well done, Clare.
Regular participants.
Cause we made it to the top of the leaves. Yes, we made it to the top of the tree. Yes, we made it to the top of the leaves.
There's Facebook, Netflix and chat, Twitter, blogs and WhatsApp. Can we go for a walk? Sit down and talk. Figure out where our friendship is at.
And now the big moment. Can I get it? And they will receive a €500. And the winner of the 2019 Bring Your Limericks to Limerick competition is, can I get a drum roll please? Sarah Moore Fitzgerald! Come on up, Sarah.
And the scores came along. Stop it! So now we can sing this song, 'cause we made it to the top of the league. Yes, we made it to the top of the tree. Yes, we made it to the top of the pie. Yes, we made it to the top
Myles, can I just say, I am so astonished to be in the company of such brilliant poets. I mean, you're so right, judges. The standard here is just amazing. We have brilliant writers in Limerick, and I'm astonished to have won the prize, and I'm just so honoured. And I've even forgotten the Limerick. No, I haven't. Okay, so... okay. Though I fancy myself as a bard, reciting a limerick is hard. You all know that. This poem is a mouthful. My talent is doubtful. I fear I'll be mentally scarred.
Tell you how close a call it was. Sarah is a professional writer and published writer and academic. Sarah won by only 0.5 decimal. Only. This competition's for everybody.
Return home. 45 years of waiting is over. The supporters come out in their throats, 'cause we made it to the top of the league. Yes, we made it to the top of the tree. Yes, we made it to the top of the league. Limerick.
Skirt's mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for first, second and third place of Limerick 2019. On behalf of myself, Myles Breen, always delighted to be here. Please, a big round of applause for Dominic and Lisa and all the people involved in organising. And also to Dolan's Warehouse, who've been so supportive, and the Limerick Arts Office. On a sort of always be selling note, books, The Curious History of the Limerick, on sale as we speak here by the door. Wait them. On a personal note, I'm involved in a one-man show called written and by me, which will be on the Bell Table in November. It's called A Wild Fan. And it's all about my love affair with the works of Oscar Wilde. So if you have nothing to do in November, please come along and see me in the Bell Table Arts Centre. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all your support. Give yourselves a huge round of applause.
Now we have a new generation of youth and drive. They stay going till the very bitter end. And the scores that came along. So now we can sing this song, 'cause we made it to the top of the league. Yes, we made it to the top of the tree.